First question, Randy, is I will start with you. What do you believe should be the primary goals of the Barnstable County Sheriff?
The primary goal of the Barnstable County Sheriff is to increase public safety by adequately incarcerating the inmates that are in our custody, sent to us by the courts. Additionally, as the largest law enforcement agency on Cape Cod, we should be the leaders and will be the leaders in public safety to support the local police chiefs, the local agencies, and the state police.
Thank you, Jim Cummings.
Vinny, thank you, and thanks to the League of Women Voters for having us here tonight, and thank you everybody for coming out. The main function of the Sheriff's Office in Massachusetts is the care and custody of inmates, and that incorporates a whole bunch of things that we have to go on to make these people better than when they leave than they were when we got them. Barnstable County is a little unique, and the same with Plymouth County, where we have a law enforcement function. We have a Bureau of Criminal Investigation, which goes out and does the crime scenes for all the local police departments, as well as our canine units that are available to any town that asks for them. As a matter of fact, Falmouth probably uses our canine units more than any other town in the Cape. We also have a technical division that keeps the public safety communication system up and running. It's another service provided to all the towns. We are not a police department. The sheriffs in Massachusetts don't act as police departments. There's no unincorporated space in the Commonwealth, unlike there are down in southern and western states. So we don't do that function. We just help the local police departments.
Thank you. Jim Cummings, we'll start with you this time. And there were several questions on this addressing the opioid crisis.
Well, I think, unfortunately, about 80% of the folks who come into our jail now admit that they have an issue with drugs or alcohol. We've been in the forefront of the opioid crisis with medication-assisted treatment using the drug Vivitrol. Our Vivitrol program was recognized by the White House in 2014 in the drug control policy of the President of the United States. And our residential substance abuse treatment program has also been designated a mentor site by the Department of Justice, which means that other departments across the country come and see our operation, our side program, and adopt it in their facilities. And we just had a group come through, about 25 people from all over the country, all over the United States, and I think the furthest traveler was from Samoa. So we certainly got a lot of recognition for that program, and it's very effective, and we're very happy to share it across the Commonwealth.
Randy, is that the same question?
Thank you. So my brochure that I put out, there's a three-pronged approach that I'm going to take for the opiate crisis: prevention, programs, and partnerships. So prevention, more needs to be done if we don't want people coming to the county jail. Obviously, we're in a crisis. So I've worked with Harvard University on a program for children under age 10 to make them aware of what the drugs are. All the research shows that you cannot wait until high school and middle school to teach educational awareness for drugs and coping skills. So more prevention programs for the public, more awareness campaigns for families and individuals that have drug problems. From a programming standpoint, far more needs to be done for the current incarcerated individuals at Barnstable County. So approximately 320 some inmates today, maybe a little bit higher. So you need more programs than the 8 that are listed on the current on the current Barnstable County website. So you must. It's a wonderful opportunity in county jail to turn those individuals around.
Thank you, Randy. Let me start with you this time. What is your answer to the problem of the large number of mentally ill people going to jail across the county?
That's a huge crisis nationwide. It's not a new crisis. It hasn't been effectively addressed on any state government levels. So there has to be more programs put in place for individuals, both in public and incarcerated, for treatment of the mentally ill. Unfortunately, I work for the Department of Correction. We're saddled. We have become the housing for the Massachusetts mentally ill. So it's not appropriate to be incarcerating these individuals in a correctional facility. So that needs to be looked at on a statewide level. County-wise, we need more programs for those that are currently incarcerated, and then programs to assist the local police departments when they have to deal with individuals with mental health issues in public.
Chief Cummings?
We just received a grant from Cape Cod Healthcare for $30,000 to help us with the mental health issue. It's going to give us an additional psychiatric nurse that is going to be available to us, and also include some training for our correctional staff. It's a tremendous problem. I mean, we have somebody that has a mental health issue, when you take them and put them in an 8x10 cell. I mean, that's certainly not going to help that individual whatsoever. Unfortunately, there's no place else to send them. You know, so if somebody has an issue in downtown Hyannis, they end up in court, and the court has no other no other alternative than to send them to jail, and it's just not where it's supposed to be. We have tried in the past to identify people on the street before they got involved in the justice system, but unfortunately, the HIPAA regulations got in the way of that. You know, so we're continuing to work with the W Clinic and the Cape Cod Healthcare to try to resolve this mental health problem, but it's something that I'm going to put at the top of my list for the next 6 years. Something to work on to straighten out.
Since she's at the top of the list, this next question is, what do you think is the most important issue facing the future of the Sheriff's Office? Jim Cummings, you start.
Well, on the mental health issue, for sure, we certainly have to do something with that. And another issue that we're facing is we have a lot of individuals that are sent to the jail to be held on bail. They haven't been convicted of anything, they're just being held on bail or without bail. What I'm seeing in a lot of the driving under cases is we'll hold them for a year, and they'll go into court, and they'll be found guilty, and they'll be released on time served. So these folks got no treatment whatsoever. So our hope now is when they're held on bail, we're going to be able to provide them treatment for whatever their substance abuse issue is, get them sober and straight, and then when they go to court, work with the courts, and maybe they can go to court and continue their treatment through the courts for a year, and that way not end up with a criminal record, and have them get sober, and hopefully we won't see them again.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure.
It was the number one issue affecting
What
the Sheriff's Office.
do you think is the most important issue facing the future of the Sheriff's Office?
Yeah, of the Sheriff's Office and not of the inmates. So the most important, the entire Sheriff's Office under my command is going to be revamped. There's no current organizational chart. I will have an org chart, and I already presented one to the Cape Cod Times. I put it in my brochure, 4 divisions. It's based on Orange County, California, one of the top sheriffs in the country. There'll be 4 distinct commands within the Sheriff's Office. I looked thoroughly at their training records, or lack thereof. So I'm going to assess each individual that works there. They need increased training and certifications, which I will definitely get them. So the current Sheriff's Office, after 18 years, needs to be revamped. That's my number one goal. It'll take 3 to 6 months to align everyone into the proper commands and get them the training that they need so we can affect the crisis.
Do you want to respond to that?
Yes, just recently, last week, our Barnstable County Correctional Facility was audited by the American Jail Association, and they sent 3 auditors out that live in different parts of the country. They go through all of our operations at the jail. There's 60 mandatory requirements and 300 and something requirements that aren't mandatory. And for the 3rd time in a row in this accreditation, we got 100%. And all of the auditors that came spoke very highly of our correctional facility and how it operates and how it's organized. So, we have one of the best run jails in the country, and I think with the 100% accreditation the last over 9 years, I think that speaks volumes to the men and women who work at the Barnstable County Correctional Facility.
Go ahead, Randy, quickly.
Well, the BCI was put into existence in 1935. There's no separate accreditation for the BCI. So that's something, as a former crime scene investigator, I will definitely have a certification for the BCI. It's a separate unit. Also, they've had 2 ACA accreditations, 2010 and 2013, and it should be coming up in 2016. In his first 11 years, there was no accreditation at all. And the benchmark for the United States is not the ACA. There's a Commission on Law Enforcement Accreditation, which is a much higher benchmark that I will shoot for. CLIA is the best in the nation. There's a healthcare certification that you can get, which is very difficult to get because you need to assess healthcare for the inmates, which is very important. So those 2 accreditations is what I would shoot for. There'd be a trifecta: ACA, the CLIA, and the healthcare. And then 4th one, I'm sorry, for the BCI.
Next question, we're going to start with you, Randy. What programs in the Sheriff's Department elsewhere in the United States would you recommend that Barnstable County adopt or adapt?
Oh, I have about 100 on my list. Briefly, the Are You OK? We have an aging senior population, senior citizen population. So I want to implement that. So if you're a senior citizen and you're in your home, we will have a calling service that checks on them on a daily basis. That's one for the public. I will not put any deputies program. I will assist the 15 local towns. But in order for my deputies to be out in public, they will have to complete, without a doubt, a full Massachusetts Police Academy. That's pretty much standard across the nation, except for here in Barnstable. And then for inmates, increased educational programs for the inmates is extremely important. It's done throughout the nation. And then reentry services begin when a person first hits the county. So there will be individual development programs for each inmate. It'll start on day one, even if they're pre-trial, because the research shows a lot of the pre-trial inmates are going to come back to us at some juncture. Thank you.
Jim Cummings?
And with the opiate problem that we have, I think one of the best things we could do is prevention. And I'd like to see us do a lot more in the schools, working with the local police and the school departments. I think we had great success with our efforts to alleviate tobacco and smoking. I think we should do something like that in the schools, start at a very young age, and just show them the dangers of these things and be very graphic about it, as we were with the tobacco issue. I mean, that worked very well to get our children on the right track. So I think that's probably the most important thing we could do. Right now, we have a great program. It's gang resistance education and training. We only do it in the Mashpee schools. It's very effective. The superintendent and principal, grammar school, middle school, are very happy with it. So I'd like to see that increased across the Cape as well. I think prevention, I think we have to get our kids at a very young age and teach them the dangers of the substances that they can get involved with.
Randy, quickly.
Briefly, the GREAT program is a focus on gangs. I questioned why I was in the Mashpee school. It's one of the smaller school districts, and most of the gang activity you're seeing is coming out of the Barnstable School District. So, not that I would get rid of the GREAT program, but the DARE program is a much better. Obviously, there's a drug crisis on Cape Cod. There's been nearly 500 fatalities, overdose fatalities, since the year 2000. So, although I like the GREAT program, the DARE program is far more important for the residents of the Cape.
Jim, did you want to respond to that?
Yeah, and I think the DARE program has been designated a failure and has been alleviated across the country. We're in the Mashpee school because the superintendent accepted us in the Mashpee school. We can't just go into a school system and start doing a class. The superintendent has to agree with it.
Jim Cummings, we're going to start with you this time. Can you describe your charitable involvement with Falmouth and the Cape Cod community?
Well, charitable, I think probably the closest we come that I can use for charitable is our program for community service. Down with that community service crews have been very good. We put a ramp in Old Silver Beach a couple of years ago, and it was in memory of Sergeant Gallagher, who was one of our soldiers who lost his life. We've also put a ramp in the Heights Beach. We replaced the stairs in the Heights Beach. We redid the bathhouse on Surf Drive. We put the stage in down in Peg Noonan Park downtown. And we've done a whole lot of work for the Falmouth Historical Society with a lot of the properties here in Falmouth, as well as our program for tents. We've made our tents available to all sorts of nonprofits across the community, and as well as Cape Cod. So we're very active in Falmouth. It has nothing to do with the fact that I live here. But, so we've helped the town quite a bit.
Randy?
So the sheriff's office needs to get more involved with all those programs. I'm an ambassador currently for the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial, which is the wall in the event that one of my people, unfortunately, would be slain in the line of duty. I will continue to raise money for that, as will my agency. The Boys and Girls Club is a very good program out of Mashpee. I think that needs to be expanded countywide. I also want to bring the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children to the Cape. There's no office north of New York City, so I reached out to them offering up my services that will bring that for New England. I think there should be a New England office. And then each town, I will continue the programs to assist each town. The tent, I think, is a good idea, although my name doesn't have to be on the tent. The tent and the program belong to the county. It doesn't belong to any one individual.
Thank you. Randy, we're going to start with you this time. If you could ask your opponent one question, what would it be?
Geez. You know, I'm very evidence-based. So how do you select your programs, and why is there no org chart that lists the programs and who works in those programs?
Why won't you release your personnel records to the public?
Will you answer his question? Will you answer his? Do you want to answer his question first, and then Randy will answer his?
Sure.
Yeah, we do have an organizational chart. It might not be on our webpage, but we certainly do have one. We wouldn't have got the accreditation if we didn't have it. So, is that the entire question? Was the rest of your answer, Randy?
How do you select your programs?
Actually, we use the Human Service Director is responsible for that. I think he does a very good job since we have people coming from across the country to use our programs. I think that speaks volumes of the programs that we do have.
And
repeat your question for me.
Why won't you release your personnel records to the people at Cape Cod? First
First of all, you're under investigation by the State Ethics Committee, the Massachusetts State Police. So, and as you know, because I'm a witness for the Commonwealth, it's not legal for you to ask for my records. You're ignorant of law. You're ignorant of law, but you can ask that question. And I addressed that today on WXCK.
They're your records. If you sign their release, they're going to be released. They're not the FBI's records.
I signed a release 15 months ago, some of the records. The release was signed 15 months ago, and I'm still awaiting my records. 15 months.
I guess we better move on.
Okay, all right. Last question. What new programs would you introduce to reduce recidivism? Randy,
Am I first?
Yeah.
To reduce recidivism, you need to expand upon the educational programs. So they need to be more education for the inmates while they're housed there. In addition, there's no work release. No county inmate has gone out on work release. He only puts out 10 federal inmates, which is another investigation because they're going to one location from a campaign donor. So you have to have more programs, more education, and then a step-down program where they have a transitional housing run by the sheriff's office where they can live, the inmates, upon their release. And then they'll slowly transition back into society. That reduces recidivism.
Jim Cummings,
The program for the federal inmates has been in effect before I became sheriff. Jack DeMello had that program going at the same location when I became sheriff. We do have programs. We have employees across the Cape that take out people. We have a couple of construction companies that hire people. We have a program with the 99 restaurant where while they're in jail, we teach them how to make certain items on the 99 menu, and when they're released, the 99 folks will hire them. As part of our re-entry program, we try to get a job for every inmate that leaves a correctional facility, and we've been pretty successful at it over the years.
So I have a rebuttal question. How many county inmates have you put on a work release?
Randy's out because we have to end it there. We're up against our time. So thank you, both candidates, for